Kimberly and I have been discussing this a lot because we both watched a very interesting um, interview. I posted it in the last newsletter. I don't know how many people have had a chance to look at it, but Joe Rogan was interviewing Mike Benz. And one of the most interesting points that Mike was making was that in the same way that the control cabal, Mr. Global, the deep state, the same way that they changed the definition of vaccine and pandemic in the last 4 years to fit their agenda, they also changed the function and the definition of democracy. Now, I've been finding this, and so has Kimberly, with a lot of our challenging conversations. It keeps coming back to the other person saying, well, I don't want to live in a world where you can't trust the sources. I don't want to teach my kids that they can't believe the government or the New York Times or CNN. And to challenge the CDC and the FDA, it destroys the world. And so we were hearing this type of thing from so many people. Some people even describe themselves as, well, I'm not one of these conspiracy people. I'm not an individualist. I'm an institutionalist. I choose to believe what I hear from the established, proven institution. And we heard that so often that it wasn't until we heard Mike Benz describe that this was the next big Psy-Op of the military, of the agencies, the CIA, the FBI, and so forth. This was probably the most successful Psy-Op since the 60s when they invented conspiracy theory to dismantle any attempts to get to the truth about the Kennedy assassination. This is, I think, their next big one. And maybe bigger than 9/11 is to actually have people, particularly young people, think that democracy, the purpose of democracy is to protect the validity and credibility of our established institutions. So that's a huge one, because that has nothing to do with principles at all.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.